Today we're going to be taking a look at my IKEA Skadis Pegboard and how I organize it and why I think that it's also a great option for you so that you can go ahead and gain more desk space, keep that minimal look while at the same time having something like a backdrop if you're a content creator, or just having a little bit more organization space so that you can set up all of your accessories and you don't leave them all on your desk. Now for me, I did buy 4 of them because I have a lot of stuff that I need to place up. I do have 4 different that are the same exact color, just so that they match and they each hold something different. Now one of the pegboards has all of the keyboards and switches. I use it kind of as my custom keyboard station. There is another table that I use so that I can bring anything that I want to change out. And I like to have all these clear containers because then you can see inside exactly which switches you have inside. Now another one of the pegboards is dedicated solely to my backpacks. I only have 2 of them so that they fit perfectly on here. I just use the hooks that IKEA has, and then these fit perfectly up there. I can go ahead and switch back and forth between whichever backpack I want to use. But for the most part, I keep my Peak Design as my weekend backpack, which I can use as my everyday backpack whenever I go to a coffee shop or I'm going out to shoot photos. It has really nice compartments for my cameras so that I can go ahead and set these up inside my camera and lenses without damaging anything inside. Now my Bellroy one is kind of my everyday work backpack. It's very minimal. It has limited pocket space, which is very fortunate for me because I don't take too many things to work. I really only take my laptop, my journal, and my water bottle, which I can stuff all 3 in here, and that's really all I need for my workspace. The third pegboard holds all of my everyday cables that I use. It's right next to my desk so that I can reach easily, as well as my Nintendo Switch and my Logitech keyboard, which honestly, the reason these are up here instead of on any other one is because my desk is a sit-stand desk and it's easier to have flat things up on this pegboard so that I can still use my desk as a sit-stand desk whenever I want to. And the fourth pegboard has a little bit more camera gear. It has my lenses and it also has the batteries that I need, as well as some Apple Watch straps. This kind of became the hold everything pegboard. As you can see, I also have a gaming headset on here. This is a little bit further away. I'm always a huge proponent of keeping things that you use regularly or daily within close proximity to yourself, such as my cables, so that you can reach them easily, and then further away, tucked into the corner, things that you rarely use, but still things that you use enough that don't need to be put away somewhere else. Now, as you guys can see, a huge plus of using the Skadis pegboards is that you do get more organization space, and because of all the accessories that you can buy at IKEA, it really can be very versatile in what it can hold. As you guys can see, I held backpacks, keyboards, lenses. They really have a huge selection of accessories that you can choose from so that you can hold all of your gear. Now, the reason I am someone that uses a pegboard rather than a shelf is for 2 reasons. The number 1 reason is the versatility. Again, you can pick a lot of stuff up. The accessories are rather inexpensive. They're like $1 or $2 for some of the hooks. Whereas instead, if you had a shelf, you would have to buy other accessories to hold things such as a controller or things to display a keyboard. And those extra accessories on top of the shelf would cost maybe $10 or $15. And the second reason I go for the pegboard instead is because of the way that you can use it, kind of like I mentioned with my keyboards or my other pegboard that's right next to my desk. I can keep things that are flat up against the pegboard or against the wall. That way I can keep my sit-stand desk as a sit and stand desk and it's not stuck in one position, whereas a shelf kind of comes out a little bit more out of the wall, maybe 7 to 12 inches, depending on which one you want. And that really can take up a lot of space whenever you want to be lifting and lowering your desk, unless you keep it all kind of higher up. And again, that's to me that if you're using something daily, I like to have it close so that you can reach it whenever you need it. Now, that isn't to say that the pegboards are a solution for everyone. These just really help me because of all the reasons I just mentioned. But some downsides of getting the Skadis one, specifically from IKEA, is that all of the accessories are actually limited to the Skadis pegboard only. Now, what IKEA did is instead of using a regular pegboard method of just having circular holes, they actually elongated them, kind of have a pill-shaped hole, if that makes sense. That way they can go ahead and keep it limited to their own accessories. And anytime you want to look up any other accessories on Amazon, they might not be compatible. And sometimes when they are, what I've noticed is they're actually a little bit more expensive. Now, a solution to that is obviously you can just go somewhere else and get whatever pegboard you want. That can really be helpful. You can really be compatible with a lot more accessories. And you can buy these usually at any hardware store, kind of like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever they're there is in your country. You can go ahead and find these, or you can make one yourself. Again, you can just buy a piece of plywood or a piece of wood and then just drill holes evenly spaced throughout the board itself. Now, the third downfall of it that I can think of is that because it's not sitting on the ground, it can be a little iffy on whether or not you can put a lot of weight on it. Usually on a shelf or on a standing shelf that's on the ground, you can put as much weight as you want on it because you know it's going to be pushing against the floor. Whereas something that's hanging on the wall is a little bit more iffy. It's a little bit more depending on how good your skills are at hanging something and whether or not you have the studs in the right place. Or if you're just hanging this on drywall, it's a little bit more costly, I guess, if you make a mistake or if you hang something a little bit too heavy on there. It's a little bit more costly if you were to break down the whole drywall. But if you know what you are doing, these are actually really great because they're modular. Like I mentioned, you can put whatever you want. You can buy accessories. Just make sure that when you go to IKEA, you make sure you plan it out before you go and buy these. That way you don't have to take another trip to get more accessories. Make sure everything's in stock. Maybe even do click and collect where you can buy everything ahead of time and you just go and pick it up. The modularity of all pegboards is the reason why I still stick to this method to hang things up on the wall and kind of get them off of my desk. But maybe you have a different opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is pegboards the way that you want to store your devices? Or do you prefer the more traditional method of having a standing shelf or a shelf that's up on the wall? Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.